Welcome back to Sean's Magic Cardboard. Today's showdown is going to be Ruby Amethyst versus Steel Song. This is the first game that I actually played against the set 5 Steel Song, including Prince Naveen and a few other cards from set 5. The deck itself is updated quite a bit. There is some fair differences. The idea is still the same. The threats of aerial remain. However, Prince Naveen is certainly making its mark at the moment. Aerial is no longer the quickest threat to sing A Whole New World. Prince Naveen is able to play it on turn 4, or even with a lantern, potentially turn 3. This is a very quick deck, and from a Ruby Amethyst side of things, it's very important in this mulligan to make sure we get some good cards to play. I can reveal, although you couldn't see my hand here, for obvious reasons, so my opponent can also not see it, that the hand wasn't so great, to be completely honest, which is the reason I'm going to put 5 cards back into the mulligan in an attempt to get some 1-drops and even a 2-drop as well, I think. I don't think there was even a 2-drop in this either. So a very, very slow start, which against this deck isn't great. To make things even better, I think I had 1B prepared before the mulligan, put cards back, and then all of a sudden had 2B prepared in my hand, which again, not great considering Whole New World is probably going to be played early in this match. What I would say though is this is the reason I use 4 of them. Some people would prefer to use 3. I like using 4 because realistically you're never going to use all 4 in one game. One is going to be discarded, particularly in either this matchup or against Emerald. So at least with the 4, if you lose 1, then that's fine. You've still got another 3 to fall on. In this case, I was about to lose 2, which would give me 2 for the remainder of the game. So the opponent today was a very good player. I always just like talking to my opponents when we get the chance, obviously outside of the actual game itself, as to not distract each other. So turn 1 for me, very simply, inking the snake and passing over. And just displaying my hand there so that the opponent could see how many cards I had in hand. Mr. Smee is going to be inked by the opponent and passed over as well. So a fairly slow start from both of us, to be fair. There's no Robin Hood coming down, there's no Stitch coming down, nothing like that. A crab goes into the ink from our side of things and plays automatically passed back over to the opponent. This game I did make some changes, I believe. I think I took out Cusco because I just don't really like Cusco as a card. It is draw, but at the same time, that's a lantern played by the opponent, which was a very catchy artwork to it. Cusco does allow you to draw, but you are sort of waiting on the opponent to take it out. If you're going to draw a card, I'd prefer to be able to draw a card off my own merit. This is a play you don't see too often, but it does also signify how things were going. Turn 3, friends on the other side. A last-ditch attempt to get some sort of card draw before A Whole New World comes down. And turn 3 by the opponent is going to be... At this point, they could actually play Prince Naveen. They could ink something, use the 3, tap the lantern, Naveen comes down, A Whole New World comes out. So whether the friends on our side was a good sign, it's one of those things. I don't think I had too many options. Had to get some sort of card draw. Being this slow at this point in the game, not very good. And Prince Naveen does come down. Prince Naveen's a singer 6. When you play this character, you may play a song with cost 6 or less for free. And this was the hand at this point. So we had Bare Necessities comes out, 2B prepared, a Madame Medusa, Brawl, finally a 1-drop Chernobog, Madame M. Fox, and also a castle. So lots going on in the hand. They decided to get rid of the castle, which I'm not really surprised at. I think castle turn 4 for them would kind of require them answers. Fortunately for me here, I actually draw into a castle. So as opposed to trying to get something on the board, although they have Prince Naveen, I am aware that we do have to take him out as soon as possible. I do decide in this turn just to ink something and play a castle and allow the opponent to try and find an answer to it. The nice thing about castle as well is regardless of A Whole New World, it's not going to get taken out. So if the opponent starts singing again, then we have no problems with that. So a few seconds here just taken to think about the turn. The castle comes out. The opponent was a little bit shocked, like, I just got rid of your castle. But yeah, it also worked out that it came in the next draw turn. This potentially will actually be the last match that I use with these golden sleeves. I have recently just got some katana sleeves, katana purple sleeves, and I'm really excited to try them out. I have friends that have used them before, they seem really cool, seem really easy to shuffle, so I'm pretty excited on a side note to try these out. Come back to the opponent here. This is their turn 4. So they're going to ink a Pete, which is good for us. We don't like Pete very much. Robin Hood comes out for 5 ink, including the lantern. Prince Naveen is going to quest, I think, which was actually good for us because we had a Maui in hand, which can swing straight into him on turn 5. Is it Maui? Or it might even be a fox bounce, actually, because we did have the fox. We get a 1-drop, put the 1-drop down, bounce the fox. Yeah, so it's the broom, fox, bounce combination, and the fox is going to go into Naveen. Doing 3 damage back to the fox. Is that 3 damage? Oh, the fox is gone. Yeah. Wait. Not entirely sure what's going on there. I assume that's a misplay because the Madam and Fox, if it's just that into Prince Naveen, if it's taking 3 damage, it should be banished. So I don't know why I've currently got a counter on it with 3 damage. That has got to be a misplay, which I didn't actually realise at the time. I think that's the beauty of watching these games back. You can see what you did right, you can see what you did wrong. And in this case, that is purely a misplay in my part. There's no reason that fox should still be where it is. What also means as well is that if Robin Hood actually hits into it, the opponent does benefit off of it in this case, because they can get to it lower for taking out a fox, which has no health, basically. 4 for bare necessities again, so the opponent will get rid of a B prepared this time, and not a great hand to be honest. Oh, it's a brawl actually, okay, so protecting aerial. Not a great hand. Yeah, so unfortunately for the opponent, I say unfortunately, I think in actual terms this might actually benefit the opponent because it gives them a target for a Rapunzel to come down and heal, which I think actually does happen here. But that is a misplay in my part, no, it's a misplay. And I did not realise that until watching this back right now. Medusa will come out, take out Ariel, I believe. I would assume it's going to be, yeah, it's going to be Ariel. Ariel's gone. Unfortunately, the Robin Hood still sits there and is a target for a Rapunzel. 2 cards in hand from the opponent. We are at 6 ink at the moment. 3 cards in hand now for the opponent. And 5 ink, you'd imagine that if they have a whole new world, they'd probably just try to empty their hand before playing it. Opponent just taking a minute to think about their next move. Champion of Sherwood, Robin Hood's a very good card. 3/6. You can shift it for the cost of 3 during your turn whenever this character banishes another character, gain 2 lore. When this character is banished in the challenge, you may draw a card as well. So a very, very good card. One of the only cards I've not actually managed to find in a pack from Rise of the Floodborn. In fact, I think it's the only card for the full set. Rise of the Floodborn is the only card from Into the Inklings, actually, that I've not been able to find. The opponent just taking a few seconds here to consider their next move. They do decide just to sing a whole new world with Robin Hood, which will give them a brand new hand and also give them 6 ink to play with, which is really nice. I believe the next play for the opponent was actually a Rapunzel, which is going to heal 4 of the damage which didn't actually exist from their Robin Hood, which would allow them some card draw. 4 cards, yep, Rapunzel comes out. Robin Hood goes back to 1, and 3 cards for the opponent. Realistically, whether it would have made any difference is hard to say. I think that's the beauty of watching these games back, though, is in real time you're kind of like so focused in the moment. You kind of sometimes, not that you don't realize what you're doing, but you're in the middle of it. Whereas when you can sit back and you can actually look things over, you can go, okay, this worked, that didn't work, which is the beauty of doing these videos so far, which I really, really enjoy. Second, Lantern comes out for the opponent. He plays a Piglet. Piglet is a very good card, and if we're not careful, would allow significant lore gain. Piglet is a 2/2, cost 2 to play, and when you have two or more other characters in play, it gets 2 lore, potentially questing for 3. So at this point, Madame Medusa, Madame Medusa goes into Champion Sherwood, which would only take him up to 5, but I was kind of happy to go ahead with it anyway, because realistically, the Champion Sherwood has been there far too long and does have to get going. We do have a passive castle, but at this point, I don't think I had to be prepared. If I did have to be prepared, the obvious answer would have been Ink card, be prepared, job's a good one. Just keep castle in the field, allow the opponent to keep respawning characters. That did not happen. And as a result, I just tried to find other ways of kind of going about it. I believe I have a brawl in hand, which might be the next play here to get rid of the Piglet. Yep, 3 played for the brawl on the Piglet. Piglet is gone. And not much else doing. No Fox in hand to finish off Champion of Sherwood. There's one going to be played for a Broom, one for, I think this is a triple 1-drop play. It is. So 2 Brooms being played, which I then activate the trigger on both when Chernobog's Followers comes down, moving it to the castle in an attempt to get some more card draw. And at this point, the opponent is in a much better position than we are. He has the ability to take out Madame Medusa with the Champion Sherwood, gain 2 lore off of that as well. We do have 1-drop, we do have the castle, so the castle sort of poses a question for the opponent. Are they just going to allow it to get there, sit there, continue to gain lore? Let the Storm Rage on comes down, it'll deal 2 damage, allow the opponent to draw 1 card. They will take out Chernobog's Followers, who would have allowed us to draw a card should it remain at the castle on the start of our turn. Opponent is down to 3 ink now. 2 will be played. 2 will not be played, in fact. The opponent's just taking a moment to think things over. 7 ink at this point for ourselves, 6 for the opponent, as well as 3 lanterns, so potentially a 9 value character can come out. Naveen comes out, he's got to sing Strength of Origin Fire, which it'll take out Medusa, and a questing of 4 to take the opponent up to 8. And it's very, very clear what we're looking for at this point. There's been a lot of card draw, particularly in the last turn. We draw for turn, so we're, as far as cards in hand go, we're doing okay. We've got a fair whack at the moment. Do we have enough for Be Prepared? No, we do not. There is no Be Prepared in hand, which is the obvious answer to a pretty packed board. 5 is going to come down, in fact, for 4 is going to come down for a rabbit. That is 4. Which, if you're playing a rabbit in this situation, you know something isn't great. What we can do is bounce the rabbit, however, get the Mim to finish off Sherwood, which I hope, yes, so the correct interaction did take place this time. Madam and Fox did actually get banished from Champion of Sherwood. 1 card goes into the ink to put us up to 8 ink. And all we can do is pass back to the opponent. We are desperately searching for a board reset. Our deck is going thin. I actually think at this point that the deck is probably close enough to the same amount of cards as the discard pile potentially, or the combination of discard pile and cards in hand and on the field. So we are potentially about halfway through our deck at the moment. There are 2 in there. We just cannot find them. When Storm Rage on comes down to do 2 damage to the opponent's own Rapunzel, which can only really mean one thing. It's probably going to get healed in a second. The opponent has 4 ink remaining for turn, 3 lanterns, and it's really interesting to play this matchup and see how Prince Naveen really can handle things and really just change the way it goes. Normally turn 4 for Ursula, turn 4 for Ariel. If you can brawl it, fantastic. Whereas Prince Naveen, it really just changes things, shapes up, makes it a lot faster. Zeus comes down, which will do 5 damage to the castle, just confirming with the opponent there. However, they do decide to swing into it as well with Prince Naveen. 4 ink remaining for the opponent. A clear board for us, nothing on the go, which can really allow the opponent to just start setting up a little bit here. And they haven't inked for turn, I don't believe. So are they going to ink a they'll ink a Robin Hood. And I assume they're potentially considering playing a Pete. 3 left. Do we have a board wipe to get rid of everything and be prepared? Up 8 ink now before the draw for turn, and it's very, very simple. Do we have a board wipe? We don't. All we can really do is Sisu Castle, move Sisu over, and simply put, that is just not enough. I think I've actually emptied my hand here. I don't think I've got any cards in hand. Oh wait, I do have cards in hand. 3 cards in hand. A 1-drop, a Sisu, and a castle. Sisu quite nice if an opponent does play a Whole New World. The fact that we're searching for Be Prepared kind of suggests to them that even if they did have it, they probably wouldn't want to play it anyway. There's no benefit to them of doing that. They've got board control at the moment. Pete comes down, which would stop any Be Prepared from being played. Ursula, any action in fact, cannot be played at all. And it really just kind of puts us in a difficult position. We can't really do much. We have to take out a few things now to stop the opponent getting 6 lore their next turn. 2 for Rapunzel, 2 for Naveen, 2 for Sherwood. So a combination of at least 2 characters have to get taken out here. Decide to banish the Chernobog's followers to draw a card. Realistically, whether that was a good idea or whether doing an extra damage to Rapunzel would have been a better play is, again, one of those things you kind of sit and look back at over the course of watching this game back. And in hindsight, would it have made much of a difference? I'm not entirely sure. Very, very difficult situation here. We didn't get the board wipe when we really needed it. Big Sisu could remove some stuff. And yeah, at this point, again, if you're playing a rabbit for the cost of 4 and 9 ink, it does not leave you anything. We don't have any Maoris. I think we might have had a Mem Fox to bounce this rabbit here. If Rafiki goes into ink, that'll put us up to 10 ink. We're going to use 1, 2 for a snake. But even then, it's just not enough. We've not got anywhere near enough resources to try and do that. Yep, final rabbit comes out and the game is called there. Question for game by the opponent. Looking back in the game, you know what? It didn't feel as bad watching it back as it did actually playing it. Actually playing it, it kind of felt like the game was almost out a little bit of control in terms of like it was quite difficult to keep up with and just get rid of some of their stuff. I think there's a few reasons for that. First of all, I think the sort of context of my Ruby Amethyst deck does have to change. I have been trying to test with a few different cards, and I think it's still not quite there yet. It's not how I would like it to be. To a certain extent, slightly unfortunate that Be Prepared didn't show up when we did need it, but at the same time, that's how the game goes. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for watching. Hope you've enjoyed this video. I will be taking part in Disney Lorcana Challenge Birmingham, so if anyone will be in Birmingham for that event, do let me know, and hopefully I'll be able to see you there.